Hey guys, thanks for joining me on Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and this is the last of my Gen Con 2019 coverage. I had a chance to meet up with the op, and we went and played through some of their games. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, and we're not able to do the intros for those videos, so I'm just going to do a quick intro here, and I'm going to be covering 4 different games in this little mini-series, and I'm going to have a video for each one of them. In each of these videos, I'm going to play through a couple rounds of the game with one of the designers, and they're going to explain how the game plays and that kind of stuff, and then we'll be able to show you guys how a couple turns work, so you can see if this is one that you want to add to your collection or not. And most of these games will be coming out shortly within the next couple months at your local game store as well, so that you guys can pick them up there. In this third video, we're going to be taking a look at the Harry Potter Hogwarts Battles Defense Against the Dark Arts. So let's head to the table and I'll show you what this is all about. Alright, so what do we have here? This is Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. So tell me how to play this game.
Sure, so this is the Defense Against the Dark Arts game, and it's inspired by Hogwarts Battle, the cooperative game, but now we get to be ourselves. Okay. So instead of playing as Harry, Hermione, Ron, Neville, you get to be 11-year-old you going to Hogwarts for the very first time.
Cool.
And as part of your education in Defense Against the Dark Arts, you're going to get to practice dueling against a fellow student.
Nice.
So of course the first thing that happens as you prepare to go to Hogwarts is you have to decide what pet you're going to bring with you.
Okay.
So in addition to the same standard 9 cards that all players start with, you get to choose, do you want to bring a toad, an owl, or a cat? And so you have those choices.
Okay.
And you're going to pick one of those to add to your deck.
Well, why not? And owls are pretty sweet, so let's try that.
There you go. And then you'll shuffle up your starting 10 cards.
Did I zap you for that one? Yes, okay. I'll zap you again.
And then the next thing is you get to pick your favorite house.
Okay.
And so you'll see these are double-sided.
All right.
That way, like if we both love Gryffindor, we can play Heads Up Gryffindor. Or in this case, I'm a diehard Ravenclaw, so I'm going to go ahead and pick Ravenclaw.
Okay.
Where I can perfect, but I don't have anything in my discard
Go ahead and
pile.
try. Let's be a little different. Try Hufflepuff.
Okay. So we'll give you a Hufflepuff marker here.
Okay.
So this is our dueling mat, and this is going to keep track of our rounds. So the goal is to win the best 3 out of 5.
Okay.
So you can see on your house card, there's locations to mark. Every time you're stunned, you're going to put a marker.
Okay.
If you're stunned 3 times, you lose.
Fair enough.
Starting 10 cards.
Okay.
And then like any deck builder, you're going to draw a hand of cards, play all of your cards, and then some of what you're going to be able to do is purchase new cards to add to your deck.
Okay.
For the Hogwarts Battle fan, something that's different in this game is Hex Cards.
Okay.
So you can get Hex Cards which you put in your opponent's deck, and that'll really ruin their day.
Nice.
And then there are cards that are house specific. So if you look, this is a Gryffindor card, and you can see if I were to play this as a Ravenclaw, I would gain 2 influence. But if a Gryffindor were to play it, they would also gain a health for every ally in play.
Okay.
And allies are these sideways cards, like our pets that we start with. When you play an ally, it stays in play.
Oh, nice.
So it's almost like having an extra card in your hand because it's always out there with an effect. So if you were to get Crab as one of your supporters who's going to cheer for you basically in the match, he goes in your discard. When he comes up again, you play him and he'll stay out there and his effect will persist.
Very cool.
But of course, there are ways to chase those allies away and do some different things as we play.
All right.
The last thing that I like to explain is the library. So like any good student, you can go to the library and check out some books. So you spend 3 influence to put the books in your deck.
Okay.
When you play them, normally you just gain 2 influence tokens.
Sure.
However, you can instead return the books to the library in order to draw another card from your deck.
Okay.
And once they're back in the library, they go back to the supply, but there's always books available in the market. So if you'd like, I can go first, demonstrate a turn, and then we'll get into it.
Fantastic.
Okay, so I'm going to draw the top 5 cards. That's going to be my hand.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go ahead and play these out. And we do include tokens, so as you're learning the game, you can draw the tokens and then spend them. And then what we find is experienced players just kind of keep it all in their head.
Yeah.
So I'll use those for demo purposes. So the first thing, I'm going to play my owl.
Okay.
The owl's an ally, so he's going to stay in play.
Okay.
And the way the owl works is I can save 1 influence on him per turn, and it builds up almost like a bank.
Okay.
And then on any turn, I can spend them all to purchase more cards from the market.
Sweet.
And then I have 4 Aloha Moras, each of which gives me an influence. So I'm going to draw those 4. Now I can either spend all of these on, say, the Scourgify spell, or I could spend 3 of them and save 1 on the owl.
Okay.
And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend 3 to get the chocolate frog.
Okay.
That's going to go in my discard pile along with these cards.
Okay.
And then this will replenish immediately.
All right.
And we see Gilderoy Lockhart. My 1 is not enough to get anything else from the market, so I'll bank it onto my owl.
Okay.
And then I'll draw 5 new cards.
All right. Okay, so I also have the owl, and I have 3 Alomoras and a cauldron. So this one, I get to choose one. I can either gain an influence or gain a health. So I'll take the influence. So I'll also get 4.
Yep.
And
And gaining a health moves you forward on the track. We're both at the front of the track. Spending an attack, which is the lightning symbol, pushes your opponent backwards.
gotcha.
Yep.
All right, so I will spend those, I guess, to get this spell here. So fill up a new one. Oh, we got lots of allies, and these will be discarded. All right, back to you, sir.
Okay. I'm
So it's going to take a minute to reset it. And then
going to gain 1 for that.
started to play yesterday, so I remember how to reset.
Play my 1 for one of these. And 3 Aloha Moras. 1, 2, 3 influence. So I have 4 influence and an attack. So I'll spend the attack, push you backwards.
Okay.
Then I have 4, and I could spend this 5th one. But I don't think I want to do that quite yet. I'm going to buy the books for 3, or check out some books, and then I will store 1 more onto the owl.
Alright, so I also have a 1 to zap you,
Perfect.
and I have 4 Hello Moras, so 4 coins. What is this one? Just gain 2. That's one.
It's good to stock up on
And what is the classroom considered? Is that our play areas or?
This here.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yep.
I got you.
So library is where the books are. These cards are all in the classroom.
Okay.
And then any cards that are banished go over there.
Gotcha. So I guess I'll buy a set of books as well, and then I'll store the last influence on my owl.
Right.
And that is my turn.
3, 4 Aloha Moras, and a wand. So I will use the wand as an attack.
Okay.
And you'll see you can kind of do this without the tokens if you prefer.
Yep.
So 4 influence there, and then these 2 put me up to 6. So I'm going to cash in everything on the owl to take Hermione
Okay.
and add her to my discard.
So I have 3 Hello Moras. I have the 1, so I'll get to zap you as well. And then I have the Scorify. You may banish a card from your discard pile. If it is a hex, gain 2 health. I don't have a discard pile at this point, so I guess there's nothing to do with that. So I have 3 influence plus the 1 of my owl. I guess I'll do this, and I'll add another one there.
Good move. And that Scourgify is going to be great later, and as we play through each of the bouts, our decks continue to grow because you don't reset when a player is stunned.
Okay.
You shuffle all your cards back together and start a new round,
Nice.
but you don't lose all those cards you gained in the previous round. So later on in the game, if I've started getting a lot of cards that let me put hexes in your deck, having that Scourgify to get them back out, because many of the hex cards are they're persistent effects. So you must play it immediately if it's in your hand. Take the negative effect, and then it goes in your discard and just comes back later.
Oh, man.
So they can be very
Nasty.
mean. Yes.
Nasty.
Play the books. That'll give me 2 influence.
Okay.
2 more for the chocolate frog, and I am not a Gryffindor, so I don't get the extra effect.
Gotcha.
So it's 4, 5, 6, and I will use the cauldron to heal.
Okay.
So with 6, I'm going to take the crystal ball. That's a good card for me as a Ravenclaw.
Okay.
So that was 3 of my 6. And I will take another set of books for the other 3.
So I'll do that for 3 influence. I have the cauldron, which I'll heal as well. And then I have the books. So, and I guess I'll gain 2 more, so that'll put me up to 5. Plus, I have 2 if I need it. So let's top card in your deck.
And these cards do replenish immediately, so if you choose to gain one of the cards, you'll replace it before you decide how to spend the rest if you have extra influence.
So I'll try that.
So they still start in your hand? I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, so they're going to start.
They started right out there.
All right. So I think that'll be it for me. I guess let's just play one more round. And we'll go.
Nope, that's okay. I just
6.
So books and books gives me 4 influence, 5, 6, 7 influence. I've got to take a card that lets me give you hexes because they're great.
Yep.
And then with the last, let's see, this is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. That cost me 5. I have 2 left, so I can take that guy.
Nice. Alright, so for my final turn, I've got all influence. So I've got 4 there, plus the books. I'll go ahead and use the books instead to draw a card. That returns to the library. So I got a 1, so I'll build a Zapier for 1. And I got 6 total. And I'll buy this one. Alright, so I hope that gave you guys a good idea of the game, how it plays. This is really cool. I really like this. I love the fact that you guys have incorporated the features from the cooperative game, but added that little flair where we're fighting each other in the on the tabletop there. So that's really cool. Thank you so much, sir, for taking me through that. And is this one available now, or?
Yes, it is. We're sold out here at the show at Gen Con, but it is available in retail. You can find it in your favorite local game store, also online, various places. Pretty widely available.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, go ahead and drop those in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks, guys.